brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
Video, we're going to show you front strut replacement. This is a 2003 Honda Civic. Pretty much the same for any 2001 to 2005 Honda Civic. We show you on the driver's side, passenger side of the same procedure. Items you'll need are new strut and spring assembly from 1AAuto.com, 10 to 21 millimeter sockets, wrenches with ratchet and extension, breaker bar or tire iron, torque wrench, small hammer, needle nose pliers, penetrating oil, and jack and jack stands. A front end alignment is recommended after this repair as well.
Remove the front wheel, held on by 4 19 millimeter lug nuts. If you have a different style hubcap, you'll need to remove that. But just use a breaker bar or your tire iron and loosen the lug nuts while the tire is on the ground. Now raise and support the vehicle. Now remove the lug nuts the rest of the way and the wheel and tire. The outer tie rod is right here. 17 millimeter nut holds it here. You remove the cotter pin. And then there's 24 millimeter to get our lock. So we're going to use a nice big 21 millimeter wrench. And as you're looking at it, you're turning it clockwise. Okay, and if you notice, we actually turned, we're just going to turn that about a quarter of a turn. If you turn the inner tie rod with it, you want to just make sure that when you put it back together, you turn the inner tie rod back out the same amount. You will want to get a alignment after you do this repair as well. Okay. If when you turn this lock nut, you also turn the inner tie rod, just make note of it so that you can turn it back the same amount and just get so that you can get yourself in a good preliminary alignment. You will want to have your vehicle aligned after you do this repair. Remove the cotter pin. Normally the pin should drive out pretty easy, but it's giving us a hard time, so we're going to use a little penetrating oil and let it sit for a bit. And you may have to use a set of these cutting pliers. Yep. So we were able to get half of the cotter pin off. We're just going to, a lot of times if you've got it off and pretty well damaged, you can just pull the nut off and it'll shear it right off as it comes off. And then give the steering knuckle a few good taps with a hammer to break the tie rod free. You want to remove this 12 millimeter bolt and this 10 millimeter bolt. They hold the brake hose and sensor wire. Remove the two 12 millimeter bolts that hold the brake caliper in place, here and here. If necessary, use a flat blade screwdriver or pry bar, pry out on the caliper a little bit to loosen it up, and then you can take your caliper off. Take a bungee cord and just secure your caliper back here so that you don't stress the brake hose. Now we're going to remove the pinch bolts, 21 millimeter nuts and 19 millimeter bolts, 21 millimeter socket and a breaker bar. Get the nuts started. And once the bolts start moving, then hold them and take them off. Now we're going to remove these three 13 millimeter nuts, hit them with a little penetrating oil first. If you have them, substitute in air tools.
Leave one of the nuts in place loosely.
Remove the 2 bolts and then lift up. Remove your last nut the rest of the way and bring your strut down and out. The original strut from the vehicle, the new loaded strut from 1A Auto, you can see it comes with the top plate already attached. The spring is compressed and in there. You don't have to worry about compressing a spring, trying to get the bolt off the top plate. You can take out the old assembly from your vehicle and bolt in the new assembly with a whole lot less hassle. Before you go to install, just note that there's 3 studs, but they're not equidistant. There's a larger distance here. This goes towards the outside of the vehicle. Have one of your nuts, top nuts ready, and put the strut up into place. Okay, put it up in, and again remember at further distances to the outside, put one of the nuts on, and just put your other 2 on by hand. Okay, you may need to twist your strut a little bit. Put up in place, make sure nothing gets caught up in there. And put 1 bolt through. Put the other bolt through. And put the nuts on by hand. Torque these pinch bolts. There's different torque ratings for 2001, 2002. You want them at 76 foot-pounds, and for 2003 to 2005, 116 foot-pounds. And I like to put the suspension up in the regular ride height, so I'm just going to jack it up. Take the weight off my support stands and torque them. With the vehicle still supported, tighten these 3 nuts to 33 foot-pounds. To reinstall a caliper, just remove your bungee or whatever you might have holding it. Make sure you have some grease on your pads to prevent squeaking. You have to push your slides in a little bit to get it to go on. Tighten these to 25 foot-pounds. Reinstall these brackets. 10mm bolt holds the sensor wire, and the 12mm bolt holds the brake hose. Put them in and tighten them up. If you've got any grease or anything on your rotors, make sure you wipe them down. Reinstall your tie rod. Down and on, put the castle nut on. Tighten the castle nut to 32 foot-pounds, and then tighten it any more you might need to get the cotter pin through the hole in the tie rod. I can see the holes there. Probably need to go another 1/16 of a turn. Okay, and insert the cotter pin. pair of pliers and bend it over. Appropriate size wrench to hold the tie rod. In this case, it's an 18 millimeter, and then 24 millimeter to get our lock nut on the back. And tighten. Put your wheel back in place. Start your lug nuts. We'll tighten them preliminarily and then torque them when the vehicle is back down on the ground. And tighten your lug nuts 80 foot-pounds and just cross in the pattern.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope this video helped you out. Next time you need parts for your car, please visit 1aauto.com. Also check out our other helpful how-to as well as diagnosis videos.